Adam, thank you so much for coming on the AIM podcast.
Excited to be here.
This is going to be a fun episode. We are fresh off one of your training sessions on Muscle Beach, which was super dope. So I appreciate you taking us through that.
Yeah, man, that was fun. We got lucky. We had a nice, beautiful day. Got some sunlight. Got to wake up early, get that fresh sun, wake you up, get the endorphins going. Happy, healthy, all the good things.
I feel like people down here in Miami, I won't listen to you guys take it for granted, but like coming here from traveling from North Carolina, it's like the end of January, it's beautiful, the sun's out, people are sweating, running around, the shirts are off. It's just a beautiful vibe, dude.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I love it. Honestly, like, I've always been kind of more geared to living towards the beach, but I grew up in New Jersey, so, you know, when I was doing business and actually, like, going to college for business, I thought all roads were leading to Wall Street, New York City. I just thought, like, if you made it in life, you were in New York, you know? And then I started realizing, like, what I actually like in life and the things that make me happy. I took college classes. I sat in accounting. I sat in economic classes where, like, I knew it was practical and important. But, man, it was so boring. And I'm like, if this is my job every day, Monday to Friday, no way. So New York was not the spot for me. And through a whole journey of a lot of things, some of which we're going to talk about, I'm a beach guy now, or at least nature, man. I just got to be somewhere where, like, I'm not just surrounded by the energy of other people.
Yeah.
And I know Miami's tough, you know, because you can't really get away from it, but, like, a beach is big, so you can get away from it. You can ride your bike in any place that's, like, catered to an outdoorsy life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wanted to, because you've had a lot of experience, and obviously you grew up there, but you've traveled a lot of different parts of the world. You've done events, run in different cities. We were talking about that beforehand.
Yeah.
Your running career in Europe.
Man, I wish it was a career.
Yeah, that's awesome. But everything brings you back here. You found kind of this to be your home, and this has been a cool place where you've really been able to focus in on some of the stuff that you're most passionate about: health, wellness, helping people, making, you know, content that delivers and makes an impact. Sounds really special, man.
Appreciate that.
I think, you know, with this particular episode, there's so much that's interesting about you and your life, and I think we could dive into that. But I really want to talk about health, because I think this is something that people are interested in, but I think you bring so much value to this conversation to really unpack what health truly is and how it's so much more than just working out. Because I think when a lot of people hear health, they might just think of going to the gym or going for a run, but there's so much more in depth to it, and also the way that it impacts our lives holistically, not just from a physical standpoint. So before we dive into that fun stuff, what is health to you, and what goes into, like, living a healthy life?
In order to live a healthy life, we always hear that you have to have balance. And of course you do. You know, we live in a society, no matter how bad you want to be as healthy as possible and rid yourself of all these bad influences, we still live in a world. I still have to pay rent. I still need air conditioning and electricity and all the things that we've come to know. For me, health is not just how you look. It's 100% how you feel.
Wow.
Now, a lot of people think going and chasing the mirror, your reflection, is going to change how you feel. It can, and it may, but more often than not, you can become a bodybuilder or you can chisel your physique. It doesn't mean that inside you're healthy. You could take a lot of steroids or supplements or a lot of artificial means to look good on the outside, but are you truly healthy on the inside? And that's why I say it comes down to feel. I know it's easy for me to say I have a six-pack and a shredded body and whatnot, but that is not because I care about having a shredded body. Swear to God, I don't care. What I've always cared about is being better at the sports that I love to play, having better performance, being able to get up off the floor easier. And these things are going to become more important as we get older in life. When you're 70 or you're 80, are you going to care how your body looks in front of the mirror as much as how easy it is for you to get in and out of bed? So for me, my outer aesthetic is really just a reflection of how I feel internally. So if you think that my body looks good, dude, I feel like a friggin' superhero. And days that I don't feel like a superhero, if my body still looks good, that's fine. But that's news to me. It's not as important to me because I'm only here for how I feel. It's the same thing with diet. I'm not worried about eating certain foods because I'm worried about getting fat. I literally just want to feel like I have energy. I don't want food to make me feel slow and sluggish. I don't want to spend a lot of time in the bathroom. I eat healthy just because in my lifestyle it makes the most sense for my goals. Not because I want abs. Not because I'm worried about getting fat. People have it all backwards.
Yeah.
If I told you that an inflammatory diet, eating the cakes and the cookies and the cheap foods, didn't just make you fat, but made your brain activity work at a reduced level, would you all of a sudden then give it the respect that it deserves?
Absolutely.
What reduces your brain activity? head trauma. So in a weird way, eating some sort of really delicious dessert that causes all this inflammation in your gut, and you have the same neurons in your gut as you do your brain, you're causing a version of head trauma. Now, you're causing that trauma in your gut, but you're also reducing your cognitive abilities. So that cheat meal does more than make you gain a little bit of weight, spend some time on the toilet. It makes you stupider.
Wow. Dude, come on, bro. I appreciate you sharing this. I think this is, these are the conversations that need to be had. And I'm so blessed and thankful that, we're able to do this and put this out in front of our community. You talk about what I really, really love. And I think there are some benefits to having a good aesthetic. We could talk about like the internal confidence and different things. And I think that's important. We should touch on that. But by and large, I think it's important for people to have a basic understanding of, those things will come as a byproduct of a healthy lifestyle. For the most part, obviously they're outliers and stuff. But I think when people are so driven on just focusing on that, it can create this really unhealthy view of themselves that they're not doing it with the right intention sometimes.
Well, I'll tell you what I learned in the industry is I used to be tied to wanting people to have the right why, the reason for doing it.
I love that.
Then I realized the motivation in fitness, you can't change somebody's motivation. If they're motivated by the mirror, that's fine. If it gets your foot in the door, that's fine. Once you're in the door, it's now my job to show you that that's the least of your worries. That's the least value.
Sure.
Really what you're going to get out of it is everything we talked about. You're going to feel healthy. You're going to have better energy. You're going to have better confidence. It's going to come off in your relationships, in your family, in your business, in so many facets of your life beyond just how you look. But if that gets you in the door, fine. That's just my opportunity to show you everything else. And when you walk out of the door, you're going to realize it had nothing to do with that from the beginning.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's super good. And for someone that maybe gets in the door for whatever their initial goal is, maybe they have gotten to a place where they're a little overweight and they're just like, aesthetically, I just want to look a little different. And that's fine. I'm not saying that's not a bad thing. But how do you create longevity in health? Because I think that's something anyone can start, right? But who can continue? And I think that would be really powerful to talk about. Because you've created this lifestyle where you maybe have individual goals, but you are consistently practicing these healthy habits.
Yeah, I mean, there's motivation and there's demotivation. If every single morning you look in the mirror waiting for yourself to lose weight, you're never going to notice it. Because every single day, the amount of changes from the day before are unnoticeable. That's why we in the industry say take a before picture, take an after picture, so you can compare them weeks or months apart. But until you see that picture, you're not necessarily going to be motivated. So back to your previous question, the goal for longevity in health and fitness is to shift the person's motivation from not being something that they won't see on a short-term basis like physical results, but being something that they will feel on a short-term basis. Have you ever left the gym and not been in an amazing mood?
Never.
Right? Have you ever left the gym and not felt like you accomplished something, that you have a win for the day?
Yeah.
So there's so many different, even little things that can radiate across your life and cause a ripple effect to benefiting you, so you feel it right after the first workout. Because you're not going to get shredded after the first workout. You might get sore.
Yeah.
But you will get all of the positive cognitive effects, lifestyle benefits, you name it.
I love how you keep bringing in the cognitive side of this, because that's so true, man. And we were working out. We were speaking about there's all these different training modalities under the sun. You've got running, you've got cardio, you've got weightlifting, you've got calisthenics, you've got CrossFit, all these different things. And they all have different physical benefits and obviously work with your mind in different ways. Yeah. But to your point, every time I go for a run, do I always feel motivated or encouraged to run when I start? Not always. But every time after, I feel good. And it makes my mind feel so much better. And I think there are people out there that are craving that and they haven't maybe put that foot forward to actually go all in, or at least just to get started, because there's that tension. But I promise, when you take that step and you see what's on the other side, you start to crave that.
We live in a world that's trending more towards instant gratification, which is never going to be, a more significant growth factor, right? Anything that's quick didn't require effort and therefore is probably not valuable. The same thing like abs. If everybody had abs, nobody would want abs. People recognize having abs means a certain level of dedication and work ethic. So, yeah, I mean, I think that people are so used to having some sort of quick response to things in everything. I mean, we want instant gratification when it comes to nutrition. How many people will sacrifice tomorrow's happiness for 10 minutes of flavor today?
Wow.
In 10 minutes, you're done dessert. It's gone. but you're screwed all the next day. You're on the toilet, you're slow and sluggish, you've messed with your hormones, you're causing all kinds of havoc to your body.
Dang, that's good. That's the way you put it that way. Because in the moment, you're like, I just want this cheesecake, or I just want this or that. But when you think about it, like from a high level and not so like lasered in on the situation, it's cool to just at least have that kind of awareness of what the lasting implications will cause and what else is associated beyond just the bite.
Right. Yeah.
You talk about, obviously training and talk about nutrition. I'm curious from like a holistic point of view, because there's other things you do. You talk about getting sunlight. You talk about, moving your body during the day, maybe not even a hard workout, but just getting up and walking. What are some of the other things that you would include in kind of a holistic approach to health outside of the basics, which most people think of, the way you train and the way you eat?
Yeah, I would say that I kind of have, and many of the students in my program have read this, but it's kind of what I call my shredded 7 testaments. And whether you desire to be shredded or not, it's just, it stands as a metaphor for the 7 different principles of being healthy. One is move frequently. So we understand that with fitness and with workouts. Sweat often. So it's not just enough to work out and to press heavy weight, but you need to sweat. You need to flush your body of those toxins, flush your salts and your minerals so that you can replenish. You need to break up periods of stagnation. So we all have jobs. We have to work 9 to 5, 9 to 6. We can't argue that. But what we can do is either work at a standing desk, take calls on our feet, or set a timer so every 30 minutes it goes off and we can spend 2 minutes doing something. And we could get into the negative effects of sitting. Everybody's heard that sitting is bad for you. It's worse than most people realize. You're shutting off your glutes, which leads to a lot of back problems. I think it's like 90% of Americans will have back or knee problems at some point in their life. A lot is because we sit in chairs where other cultures, when they use the bathroom, when they sit in what's called a primal squat, where they break the 90-degree bend at the knees. It's another reason why we have so many knee injuries in America, is we're not used to breaking 90 degrees because we always sit in chairs. If you go to Asia, if you go to the Middle East, they actually have to use the bathroom and take shits in holes in the ground. Wow. So they're in full squat, which is the natural primal position for our species to go to the bathroom. So break up periods of stagnation, remove inflammatory foods. We could talk about eating nutritious foods. I think that there will always be a debate into what is the most nutritious for us, and every person has a different genotype, so it's going to be a little bit different per person where their family is from and what they've grown up eating. But we all know that we can avoid inflammatory fake foods. The fact that a brownie is edible, let's say, I mean, you can make one that's healthy, but like, let's say you just go to the store and there's like 50 ingredients and not one of them is anything natural from earth, and that's somehow edible. How? None of those chemicals individually are foods that were meant for us.
Good.
So somehow this is now a food that we desire, and it's a staple in our diet. That's dessert. What diet is complete if you didn't have dessert after dinner? Well, what is that dessert now doing on top of everything? So there's inflammatory foods, and there's some things off that list which you touched on. Like, I think a lot of people, it's tough on social media. You can't see everything. What are people really doing? What are they saying they're doing? I can promise anybody that's listening to this podcast, I'm waking up, and if I'm working out in the morning, which I try to do 4 days of the week, depending on my busy schedule, I'm trying to do my workout in the sun. If it's cold, I still want to be in the sun. If there's clouds, I still want to be outside because there's still sunlight, there's still vitamin D, you're still connecting with the earth, you're still getting the negative ionic charge from the earth. There's a reason everybody feels so much better and de-stressed when you're at the beach or in the ocean, because there's actually, it's studied scientifically, a negative charge in the ions of the beach, in the water and whatnot, and it affects your body. It makes you relax. So it's nice. So I'm relaxing while also, working out and exercising at a certain pace. So every morning I'm getting that sun, I'm working out, I'm coming back and fueling myself, high protein breakfast, not eating pancakes, no protein pancake bullshit. I'm not putting a bunch of chemical powder stuff in a pancake to create some food so people on Instagram can say, oh my God, he eats this, I can resemble it. No, the best diet, like we were talking about earlier, is simple.
Yeah.
I eat ground beef patties sometimes for dinner, sometimes a steak with white rice. Am I doing a chicken fried steak breaded with a this and a that in a sandwich with a this so it crunches perfectly for the camera? No, that shit's not healthy.
Right.
All the oats, all the overnight oats, I see all the fitness people promoting, oats aren't healthy. That's a snack food. You're putting a bunch of honey and peanut butter and oats in a thing, and you're calling it a health food. It's like might as well be ice cream.
Yeah.
Might as well be a Ben and Jerry's. That stuff's not good for you. Half the health foods that the fitness influencers promote are not good for you. Anything pancake related, I'm sorry, it's not good for you. Unless it's just bananas and flour. Banana, egg, and flour. Like maybe then you're getting, if you're making it at home. Any mix, trash. And people know this, but they want to believe otherwise, so they live in denial. And we live in a world full of people living in denial. Everybody knows what hurts their stomach. I'm sorry, if you just crushed a steak, then you got dessert full of ice cream at the restaurant, and you were sipping a whiskey all night, if you can digest that, you're an anomaly.
Yeah.
For everybody that has stomach issues from that, there's nothing wrong with your stomach. You don't need to see a gastroenterologist. You're normal. You shouldn't be able to digest. Like gluten intolerance, you should be intolerant to gluten. The gluten molecule has changed over thousands of years of cross-pollination. Most people can't break it down. Instead of telling people that they're gluten intolerant, you should just single out the people who are gluten tolerant and say, you're the anomaly. We're not odd. This is the new normal because they've messed with what gluten is.
Wow. Thank you for that. That was like a pure lesson on all things health. But no, it's cool, man. I appreciate that. And I think, there's obviously all these physical implications, but I love how you keep bringing back to the mind too, like the way we think, the way our sharpness, our clarity, the way that we interact, the way that we do business, the way that we show up in our relationships. And I think that piece is almost disconnected sometimes too, not understanding that piece.
It is. I mean, and it comes back to, where we talked about like the why. I would love the world of fitness to have a different why. Granted, if you want to look good and it's going to give you confidence, I support that. But like, that's the short-term game. That's looking at it like that. What about just living longer?
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to, like every day you go to the gym on a Wednesday, you're not going to get the results of living longer until you live longer.
Sure.
What about setting the example for your children? What about being around or mobile enough to pick them up off the floor? I get a lot of people that comment on my posts saying, well, once you have kids, let's see if you have the time to maintain this lifestyle. Of course I will. I'm not going to let my kids watch me get lazy and fat and out of shape. I'm going to lead by example. My kids are going to see me prioritize my health because that's selfless for my family.
It's good.
Because they're going to get the best version of me around for as long as possible, as optimized as possible. And I'm going to teach them to do the same thing for themselves so they can have the best lives and do this for their families so they can be around for their families. So anybody who says they don't have time just has their priorities mixed up. It is not selfish to spend time on your health. It is selfish to not do that and to create a bad example for your family.
Wow, that's good, man. I think that's one of the most powerful, components of leadership is leading, like by example, leading from your own actions. And obviously you've lived a life where you've seen the implications of what healthy living does and holistic living and training. And now, to be in a position like that where now you're showing other people what it looks like. You're not only, talking about, but you're living it out. That makes a ton of sense.
And you said something earlier too, which, I know it's a topic that you want to get to, which is what fitness, wellness, or health can do for you beyond just how you look. What does it do for your brain? You're a runner. What that has taught you and how you can overcome challenges and obstacles with the mindset that you built as a runner. Like, that's huge. And that goes so much further than all of the short-term gratification stuff that most people don't realize.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more with that. I mean, and I think what's cool about that is running is one way that I personally found to push myself. It's been a way for me to get to those tougher places and find a little bit of discomfort and kind of learn how to keep pushing and grow in those areas. But I think it's true of any way you get uncomfortable, anything you do, like when you've never gotten into calisthenics and you're trying certain things or pushing your body in new ways, I think those are places where you have opportunities to grow. In your life, how have you seen pushing yourself and doing hard things impact your growth and your journey?
Yeah, for me, I got into fitness because I played sports as a kid. And I maintained it as an adult because the truth was I couldn't make it through the day sitting 9 to 5 at my desk doing what I needed to do for business if I didn't get it all out somehow. So I wasn't doing it for the mirror. I was just doing it because it was my release.
Yeah.
At this point in my career, I've been through so many workouts and I give myself daunting physical challenges that require all my brain power because it's not just this is going to be hard for hours. It's going to be hard for hours, and your body is going to ache, and everything inside you, your subconscious is going to keep telling your conscious mind, this hurts, this sucks, you could just stop. When you learn to quiet those voices down from the most physical, painful examples in your life, then when that example pops up in business, in an argument with a friend, or in other parts of your life, that's nothing. That challenge doesn't even come close to what I've had to endure in my life.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. And honestly, I think when you do hard things, and I would say like there's different ways to look at this. Running 100 miles is something hard. Doing the calisthenics crazy stuff that you do is something very hard. Showing up consistently, just doing a normal workout program is hard. It's like, what is your version of hard? But the beautiful thing about doing hard things is, yes, they're physical benefits, but truly, I look at it, it's an opportunity to train the mind. Like, it's actually an opportunity to focus on, maybe you don't think about it that way when you're doing it, but what you're really doing is you're putting yourself in a position where you're going to have to grow mentally more so even than physically. And I think if people can understand that, if you can learn how to let your mind control your body versus your body control your mind, you are a much more powerful human being, and you're going to have an outcome in a way better way.
Really well said. And I'll even throw you a curveball, add emotion into the mix. Well, your mind's controlling your body, your body's controlling your mind. Where does emotion, especially in today's world, I see very emotional people let emotions control their mind and possibly even control their body. You know where I see the least amount of emotional people?
Where is that?
Extremely fit, well taken care of, and healthy people. They seem to be more grounded and in control of their emotions.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, maybe because they have more balanced hormones because they're working out regularly. Maybe because they can release their anger in some sort of way. Maybe because they have a higher purpose, which isn't just looking for anything to create drama or complain about.
Sure.
You know what's funny about the Karens of the world? We see them all the time on social media. I have yet to see a Karen that's in shape. Give me one Karen at one of the department stores that's freaking out about something ridiculous, and show me one that's in shape. Maybe if she was in shape, she wouldn't be so damn angry all the time. She'd have something else to do with her time that's better focused, that provides value in her life. Because I can tell you, Karens are not providing value to themselves, that's for sure.
They provide value to your algorithm.
Right. They're providing entertainment, and they're in a negative feedback loop. Like, they like that environment. They want a dramatic negative thing because that's what they get to chat about with their friends later.
Yeah. We
get to chat about being healthy and how amazing we feel. They're going to get to chat about how terrible they feel and how sad the world is. That's a shame. I know we're laughing about it. It's not something funny. It's a shame. And those people, I hope to think I've helped a lot of those people, and I hope to help more of those people. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, fitness isn't just the answer to everything. But I think what people would get out of this podcast is it's not just the piece of the pie. There's a bigger picture. And you can have fitness be a part of it, or it can be the key that got you into the door to begin with.
It's good.
But yeah, I mean, dude, like, you don't need to run a marathon. I used to think marathon runners, I thought you guys are mental.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you have to have a strong mentality. You're almost friggin' crazy.
Like, you're all of it.
Yeah, you gotta be like a sociopath, or like you gotta like love pain, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is, there is a variety of that. If you're not running for 4 hours straight, but you're going to the gym every day for 2 months, when you don't want to get up in the morning,
100%.
Before work, before you have to take care of your kids, when it's snowing outside, you got to scrape the ice off your window, like all the things that make it really hard to show up, and you show up, that's where it matters the most.
I love that. I couldn't agree more. For you, just to comment quickly on the Karen stuff, as much as I agree with you 100%, I can relate to that in a way. Like, there have been seasons, we were talking about before I started recording, like, there was a stretch last year where I got into just a rough routine, and I just knew my health wasn't being prioritized. My sleep schedule was way off. We haven't even gotten to sleep yet.
Oh yeah,
which is a huge indicator of hormone levels and the way your mind responds to all this stuff. But I recognize that, and the mornings I don't prioritize, my faith, and then into my workouts, and then into eating the right way, and like I can feel it during the day, like, and my whole day is different. As much as I want to be tough and be strong and say I'm going to have a great day no matter what, but like those things are so important to my routine and my rhythm, and they set everything else up. And I'm not as effective, I'm not as disciplined when I don't set up my day and prioritize my health.
You can't just wing it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can wing it on the weekends if you want to, but that's something that I realized, especially like the last few months. Or, well, not recently, but like in times where like I've been down or going through a breakup or something like that, and it's really hard to find that motivation. I feel like that puts me more at like an equal playing field to more people who aren't as motivated on the same path as I am. And dude, I mean, you just said it right. Like if I wake up and I'm like, I don't feel like it, and I don't start my morning with the things that I know are going to set me up for success, for health, for everything, I'm so miserable that entire day. I'm so miserable at the end of the day. And it just leads me into the next day on some negative vibes, no good momentum, negative momentum.
Yeah.
And now I just had the chance to do it again. You know what happens the next day? It becomes even harder.
Wow.
It becomes even harder. This is why people that fall off of a workout, they fall off and then they stay off. Because every day that they're off, it's even harder to get back on.
Well, here's what we're going to do. You've kind of laid out all this incredible information. People are not hearing this. They're hopefully becoming aware. Maybe there's some places in their life they need to check on. You know, maybe it's something that's subtle now, but it could quickly turn into something way more dangerous or way bigger deal down the road if it's not addressed. But help us understand an action plan. If someone's listening to this episode right now and they're like, okay, I get it. I need to be more healthy. I need to understand, you know, there's certain areas of my life I'm probably going to make changes. How would you advise someone if they're like, I want to take some steps in the right direction to get my health back in check from an entry-level standpoint? Because obviously we have different listeners, different people in different places, but if someone's like, look, I just got to get started, what would you tell that person?
My advice on the best starting point for your health and fitness journey is first thing in the morning. The reason is because when you wake up, the first thing that you do with your day, with your mind, should be something that's for you, that excites you, brings you happiness, or benefits you in some sort of way. If the first thing is a responsibility, you're not going to wake up excited. You're going to wake up like any responsibility. I just got to get this done. What this also does is it gives you significantly more sleep. Because if you're not excited for the morning, you're not going to go to sleep. And you're not going to sleep deeply because you're not excited to wake up. So if you do something for you first thing in the morning, if you need to wake up 10 minutes earlier, 20 minutes earlier, just do it. Make that sacrifice. It will radiate beyond just the health journey. It will motivate you. That's where you're going to find your motivation to do it again the next day and to do it a little bit harder. And every single day, maybe you add a little bit on. Maybe that morning time is you're just reading. Maybe later it's working out. Maybe it's, writing a symphony. You know?
Yeah, that's good.
I think a lot of people find struggle in life because we're busy doing what we have to do, to pay the bills, to do the jobs, to meet the demands of our social life, instead of what we want to do. And we get so stuck in this, at what point do we get to chase our goals? Everybody should have a side hustle that helps get you closer to some life or some dream that you've always wanted, because it's not going to happen 9 to 5 if you're too busy trying to make sure you have a roof over your head or food on the table.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's really good, man. I can relate to that. Like, if I don't work out in the morning, this kind of the nature of what I'm doing right now, an ideal day for me is I would work out in the morning and I would work out again in the evening, maybe do like a strength session or cardio and then flip it, whatever I didn't do. But the days that I don't, and I just go straight into busy stuff, I'm just like, I get so frustrated. And sometimes you never know, like stuff pops up. I'm sure you probably have a similar situation with content and business and everything. And you never know what the day's going to look like. And if you don't prioritize that and keep it first, sometimes you might miss it.
And that doesn't mean that if something comes up in business or family or life that you're like, nope, my workout's prioritized. Like, no, of course. Again, we live in society. We have to learn how to function. Like sometimes you have to make the decision as to what priority makes sense. I heard this once recently. You never do what you don't want to do. Everything you do is always what you want to do. You're doing it. So even if someone has a gun to your friend's head and says, if you don't do this, I'm going to kill this person. If you do it, you're still doing it because you want to. Even in that ridiculous scenario, you want to save your friend's life. So you're doing it. So everything we do, in some essence of the word, like we want to be doing it. So even when things suck, even when we think like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? You know why.
That's good, man. I love that. As this has been an incredible episode, honestly, I'm so excited for our community to just understand health in an even deeper, better way, from not just a workout standpoint, not just nutrition, but the holistic viewpoint and how they can actually take what we talked about and start to implement it. What is one lesson or one thing that you've learned throughout your journey? Because obviously you've been doing this for a long time. You've had a ton of success in this industry as a trainer, as someone who's put out a lot of programs and changed so many lives through what you do. What is one lesson that you personally learned about health, wellness, your own journey, however you want to take it?
I would say that there's the one lesson that I've learned about health since I've been on this journey is that there is no one set answer for everybody. And you need to stop competing and comparing yourself to other people, because what they want, what their goals are different from you. What's going to get them to their goals is going to be different from them. They have different genetics, is different from you. They sleep differently. They have a different job. You guys are so different to compare yourselves. It just doesn't make any sense. And at the end of the day, you're on your own journey. You should just be comparing yourself to the guy you were yesterday. And I know that it's like the eye-rolling thing, compare yourself to your previous version. It's the truth. It really is the friggin' truth.
Yeah, I love that.
Especially on social media. Like, I get, every now and then I get reminded of a post I did years ago, and I get to look at that, and I'm proud of what I did. And in that moment, I get to consider where I am right now, and I've yet to be disappointed. I might have been able to do more backflips and be less sore. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
no, I definitely think that that's huge for me. And it also is like, I don't want to promote unhealthiness. I don't want to support. I'd like, if you're overweight, you're beautiful on the inside, like we talked about before. But I don't want to support the fact that you're unhealthy. I want to be able to tell you that you're unhealthy. I don't want to insult you. If you don't want to change, that's up to you. I'm not going to walk around the earth telling everybody who's unhealthy they're unhealthy. But if you come to me, I'm not here to give you lies. I'm here to help you. And if the honesty, if somebody being honest with you about your health is scary, and you go into fight or flight, that's usually a sign of being in denial. And you should find some awareness within yourself to know why you feel this way. And maybe when you can remove the ego from it, you can recognize that this person's just trying to help you.
So true, man. I love that. I think that's true for health. That's true for a lot of things in life. If, sometimes we just don't want to confront the truth, honestly. And it's hard, but I think there's so much growth in that. And the way you framed it is great. It's like you're doing it out of a place of care, out of a place of love, out of a place of encouragement, because you want to see other people succeed and grow. And if you have access to information that will help them and you don't share, it's almost bad on your part. So
that's why I think it's so weird, the world we live in today. Everybody's so quick to attack anybody who doesn't just support everything you do, right? Instead of calling you on your bullshit. You know who calls me on my bullshit? My best friends, my boys.
Yeah.
You know who I call on their bullshit? My best friends and my boys. You know who I don't? Strangers. I don't know them.
Yeah.
I love my friends. They love me. They're going to be the first ones to hold me accountable. We live in a world today with no accountability. Everyone's too scared to hold somebody accountable for fear of the mob. They're going to get, socially shamed, or the mob's going to come for you and you're going to get cancel cultured. The people that deserve to be canceled, there's definitely people that deserve to be canceled. Don't get me wrong. But there's some people that are just being honest.
Sure.
That are just telling people what's hard for other people to tell you. You need to hear it.
Wow. It's good, man. It's good. This has been an incredible episode, man. I can't thank you enough, and I'm so encouraged. And I know the people listening to this are going to be super encouraged by this conversation, and hopefully just gain that whole new light of awareness towards just health and what it truly means to be a healthy person. And I'm excited and super thankful for you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, dude. And I just wanted to leave one disclaimer, because I know we talked about this before, and I think the one thing that's hard for anybody who watches a show like this with people whose careers are in fitness, they have this, unfair perspective that, of course, it's so easy for us to be in this shape, and we're speaking from an elitist perspective.
Sure.
When the truth is, I don't know about you, but are you on the beach training for 4 hours a day? Because I know it seems like that in my content.
Yeah.
I'm right here at my desk.
Yeah.
From pretty much 9 till 6 every single day. I work out in the morning, and I try to go for a bike ride or do something in the evening. But I get that a lot. A lot of people looking for excuses as to why they can't, and why obviously you can. And I just want to nip that in the bud. I want to remove people's limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
You can be lean. You can be shredded. You don't need steroids.
Yeah.
You don't need supplements. This is what the natural human body can look like at its most optimal performance.
That's good, bro. I appreciate you bringing light to that, because I think that is a big misconception for a lot of people that maybe look at a lifestyle like yours or follow you on Instagram and social and see the stuff you post, but there's so much more to it, obviously, than just the videos and you training.
Just wait till I have kids. I'm going to start posting my kids and my work, and I'm staying shredded, and you can hold me to it.
You're going to have some shredded kids. You're going to have those kids that do push-ups.
That's what I want. Yeah, hell yeah.
That's amazing. Well, dude, like I said, man, this has been a great episode for your stage. It's so great for you, bro. And,
Yeah.
I'm really excited to keep helping people together.
Absolutely. This guy's the real deal. We got to do this again, man. We got to do a volume 2, a longer one. Get a little bit deeper.
Let's go, bro. Thank you, man.